It's the middle of the night. You're lying in bed, almost asleep, when you hear that sound. Lick, lick, lick. It's rhythmic. It's repetitive. It's your dog sitting on the floor next to your bed, licking their paw. You try to ignore it and go back to sleep, but you can't. The sound just keeps going. Lick, lick, lick. After a few minutes, you finally say something. You tell your dog to stop. They pause for a moment, maybe look up at you, and then they go right back to it. Like you never said anything at all. You roll over and try to sleep, but now you're thinking about it. You're wondering if something is wrong. You're wondering if you should be worried. And somewhere in the back of your mind, you're making a note to watch for it tomorrow and see if it keeps happening. Have you ever noticed your dog licking their paws and felt that little knot of confusion in your stomach because you weren't sure if it was normal or if it meant something was actually wrong? Most dog owners have. Most of us see our dogs licking their paws and we think, well, dogs lick themselves. That's what they do. It's a normal behavior. Or we think, maybe their paw itches. Or maybe they're just bored and need more exercise. We come up with these quick explanations and then we move on with our day. But here's what most people don't realize. When a dog is licking their paws repeatedly, when it becomes a habit they can't seem to break, when it's happening multiple times a day, or even multiple times an hour, your dog's body is usually trying to tell you something. And it's almost never just a bad habit. It's almost always a signal, a message. Your dog's way of saying that something is not quite right. The problem is that paw licking can mean so many different things. It can be caused by allergies. It can be caused by anxiety. It can be caused by pain. It can be caused by infection. It can be caused by boredom. And because it can mean so many different things, most dog parents don't know where to start. They don't know what to look for. They don't know what's actually happening. So they just watch their dog lick and lick and lick, and they hope it goes away on its own. But what if I told you that understanding what's really causing your dog's paw licking could actually solve the problem? What if the reason your dog's paws are red and irritated, and they keep licking them constantly, is something you can actually do something about? Once you understand the real cause, you'll know whether this is something you can safely help with at home, or whether it's something that needs your veterinarian's attention. And that knowledge alone will take away so much of the worry and confusion. Let me start by explaining something important about dog paws. A dog's paws are incredibly sensitive. They're not just the tough, leathery appendages they look like from the outside. Inside, between the pads, in the webbing between the toes, and all around the paw, there are thousands of nerve endings. A dog's paws are almost like human hands in terms of sensitivity. When something is irritating a paw, even something small, your dog can feel it intensely. And when a dog feels irritation, their instinct is to lick it. They lick to clean it. They lick to soothe it. They lick because licking actually releases endorphins, which are the feel-good chemicals in the brain. So licking a sore or itchy paw feels good to your dog, at least temporarily. The problem is that when a dog licks their paws over and over, it can actually make the situation worse. The licking irritates the skin further. It can cause secondary infections. It creates a cycle where the paw gets more irritated, so the dog licks more, which makes it more irritated, and the cycle continues. This is where the mistake most owners make happens. When you see your dog licking their paws constantly, your instinct might be to try to stop them. You tell them to stop. You redirect their attention. You maybe even put a cone on them to physically prevent the licking. But if you stop the licking without addressing the underlying cause, you're just treating the symptom, not the problem. The paw might still be irritated. Your dog might still be uncomfortable. They might just be frustrated because they can't lick their paw when they desperately want to. The real approach is to understand what's causing the licking in the first place, and then address that cause. So let me break down the most common reasons dogs lick their paws excessively. The first and probably most common reason is allergies. And when I say allergies, I'm not just talking about environmental allergies like pollen or dust. I'm talking about food allergies too. You see, when a dog has an allergy, their immune system is reacting to something as if it's a threat. And that immune response triggers inflammation throughout the body. But often that inflammation shows up first in the paws and the skin. This is because the paws are constantly in contact with the ground, with grass, with dirt, with whatever environmental allergens are out there. And if a dog's immune system is already activated because of a food allergy or environmental allergy, the paws become a focus point for that inflammatory response. So your dog's paws get itchy. And because the paws are so sensitive, this itchiness feels intense. Your dog licks to try to relieve it. And if your dog has allergies, that licking might be happening almost constantly. They might spend hours a day licking their paws. You might notice the paws are red or inflamed. You might notice the fur between the toes is stained from saliva, which often happens when dogs lick excessively. You might even notice the paws starting to smell yeasty or funky, which indicates that a secondary yeast infection has developed from all the moisture from licking. Here's the part most owners miss about allergies. They don't develop overnight, and they don't go away overnight either. If your dog has developed an allergy, it probably took weeks or months to build up, and fixing it will also take time. But the good news is that there are things you can do. If you suspect your dog has a food allergy, you can work with your vet to do an elimination diet. You remove common allergens from the food, like chicken or beef or grains, and you see if the paw licking improves. If it's an environmental allergy, you might need to help manage the inflammation while your dog is exposed to the allergen. This can mean adding omega-3 supplements, which reduce inflammation naturally. It can mean regular paw soaks to keep the paws clean and reduce irritation. It can mean switching to a food with less inflammatory ingredients. The second major cause of excessive paw licking is anxiety. And this is important because anxiety-based paw licking looks different from allergy-based paw licking, but many owners don't realize the difference. When a dog licks their paws due to anxiety, they're usually licking just one or two paws, often the front paws, and they might lick them in specific situations, like when you leave the house, or when there's a storm, or when there's loud noise, or when something in their routine changes. The licking becomes a self-soothing behavior. It's like when humans bite their nails when they're nervous. The dog is anxious, so they lick their paws because it calms them down. This is where understanding your dog's behavior becomes really important. If your dog's paw licking only happens during stressful situations, or if it's worse during those times, you might be looking at anxiety rather than allergies. And if it's anxiety, the solution is different. You need to address the anxiety itself. This might mean creating a safe space for your dog. It might mean desensitization training if the anxiety is triggered by specific sounds or situations. It might mean supplements that support calm, like L-theanine or CBD, which many vets now recommend for anxious dogs. It might mean more exercise or mental stimulation, because sometimes anxiety is actually just excess energy with nowhere to go. The third cause of paw licking that people often overlook is pain, and this one really matters, especially for older dogs or dogs with joint issues. If your dog has arthritis or a joint problem, or any kind of pain in their leg or paw, they might lick that area excessively. The licking is their way of trying to soothe the pain. It's a pain management behavior. If this is what's happening, you might notice the licking is localized to one paw or one leg. You might notice your dog limping or moving differently. You might notice they're reluctant to put weight on that paw. In this case, you need to address the pain. This might mean anti-inflammatory supplements like glucosamine and chondroitin. It might mean pain medication from your vet. It might mean physical therapy or massage. But the key is understanding that the licking is a symptom of pain, and treating the pain will reduce the licking. The fourth cause is infection. Sometimes a dog gets a small cut or injury on their paw that you might not even notice. Maybe it's from a splinter. Maybe it's from stepping on something sharp. Maybe it's from a small tear in the pad. If that area gets infected, it becomes irritated and itchy and painful, and your dog will lick it excessively. An infected paw might be red, swollen, warm to the touch, or even oozing pus. If you see these signs, your dog needs veterinary attention. This is not something to handle with home care. An infection can spread quickly and become serious. So if your dog's paw looks infected, call your vet. And the fifth cause, which often gets overlooked, is simply that your dog's paws are dirty or uncomfortable. This happens a lot, especially in certain environments. If you live somewhere with salt on the roads in winter, or if you walk your dog on sandy beaches, or if you're in an area with lots of irritating plant material, your dog's paws might be uncomfortable just from being exposed to these things. The solution here is actually pretty simple: regular paw cleaning and care. After walks, especially in winter or on beaches, wash your dog's paws with warm water and a gentle soap. Make sure to get between the toes. Dry the paws thoroughly. This simple routine can eliminate a huge amount of paw irritation and reduce licking significantly. Now here's the thing that I want you to understand. These 5 causes can overlap. Your dog might have allergies and anxiety. Your dog might have an infection that developed because they were licking due to anxiety. Your dog might have pain and environmental irritation happening at the same time. So when you're trying to figure out what's causing your dog's paw licking, you have to be a detective. You have to look at the whole picture. Start by observing your dog. Which paws are being licked? Is it all 4 paws or just 1 or 2? When does the licking happen? Is it all day or just at certain times? Does the paw look inflamed or infected? Does your dog show signs of pain when you touch the paw? Is the licking worse during certain seasons, which would suggest environmental allergies? Is the licking worse during stressful situations, which would suggest anxiety? Are there any other symptoms like digestive issues or skin problems elsewhere on the body, which might suggest a food allergy? Once you have this information, you have a starting point. And here's what I want to be really clear about. If your dog's paw looks infected, if there's pus or significant swelling or heat coming from the paw, or if your dog is limping severely, or if your dog seems to be in pain, please call your veterinarian. These are situations where home care is not appropriate. Your dog needs professional evaluation and treatment. But if your dog's paws are licked raw but not infected, if the licking is excessive but your dog seems otherwise healthy, if you can't identify an obvious infection or injury, then there are safe things you can do at home while you figure out the underlying cause. First, keep the paws clean and dry. Wash them regularly with warm water and a gentle, unscented soap. Dry them thoroughly, especially between the toes. Moisture is your enemy here because it creates an environment where yeast and bacteria thrive. Second, try to interrupt the licking cycle. This doesn't mean punishing your dog or yelling at them. It means gently redirecting. When you notice your dog licking their paws, redirect their attention to something else. Play a game, offer a toy, go for a walk. The goal is to break the habit loop and give the paws a chance to heal. You might also consider a soft cone or a protective booty, not to punish, but to physically prevent the licking so the paw can start to heal. Third, add omega-3 supplements to your dog's diet. Omega-3 fatty acids are powerful anti-inflammatories. They reduce inflammation throughout the body, including in the paws. You can give your dog fish oil supplements, or you can feed foods naturally high in omega-3s like salmon. Most dogs start showing improvement in paw licking within 2 to 4 weeks of consistent omega-3 supplementation. Fourth, if you suspect allergies, try eliminating common allergens from the diet. The most common culprits are chicken, beef, corn, wheat, and soy. You could try a limited ingredient diet where you remove these and see if the paw licking improves. But be patient. Food allergies take time to show improvement. You might need to stick with a new diet for 4 to 6 weeks before you see real changes. Fifth, if you suspect anxiety, focus on creating a calm environment and providing more mental stimulation. More exercise, more training, more puzzle toys, more engaging activities. Sometimes anxiety is just pent-up energy looking for a release. And sixth, keep a log. Write down when the licking happens, what the paw looks like, whether there are any other symptoms, what your dog ate, what the weather was like, anything that might help you identify a pattern. This information is gold when you talk to your vet, because it helps them narrow down the cause much more quickly. Now here's when you absolutely need to call your veterinarian. If the licking continues for more than 2 weeks, despite your home care efforts, if the paw becomes more inflamed or swollen, if there's any discharge or odor coming from the paw, if your dog develops hair loss from licking, if your dog seems to be in pain, if the licking is affecting your dog's quality of life, if your dog stops eating or becomes lethargic, if you see any signs of infection like heat, swelling, pus, or redness spreading up the leg, if your dog's behavior changes significantly. And obviously, if your dog is struggling to walk or bearing no weight on the paw, that's an emergency. But for many dogs with paw licking, the cause is something manageable. It's allergies that can be managed with dietary changes and supplements. It's anxiety that can be addressed with environmental changes and behavior work. It's environmental irritation that can be prevented with regular paw cleaning. It's boredom and excess energy that can be solved with more activity. None of these things require expensive treatments or long-term medication in most cases. They just require understanding what's actually happening and then addressing it thoughtfully. What I want you to remember is this. Your dog is not licking their paws because they're being naughty or because they have a bad habit. Your dog is licking their paws because something is uncomfortable or anxiety-inducing or irritating, and they're trying to fix it the only way they know how. Your dog is communicating. They're sending a message. And when you understand the message, you can actually help. If you've been ignoring your dog's paw licking, thinking it's not a big deal, please don't feel bad. You didn't realize how much information your dog was trying to communicate. Most dog parents don't, but now you do. And now you can actually do something about it. You can start paying attention. You can start asking the right questions. You can start looking for the underlying cause instead of just seeing the symptom. The beautiful thing about paw licking is that once you address the real cause, it usually gets better. Your dog will stop licking because the paw is no longer irritated or painful or anxiety triggering. The paw will heal. The hair will grow back. Your dog will stop that repetitive licking sound that was keeping you up at night. And your dog will just feel better. They'll move more comfortably. They'll seem more like themselves. And you'll feel better too, knowing that you figured out what was wrong and actually helped. Tonight, take a moment to really look at your dog's paws. Notice if there's any redness or swelling. Notice which paw your dog licks most. Notice when the licking happens. Pay attention. Be a detective. And then take action. Start with the simple things. Clean the paws regularly. Add omega-3s. Provide more exercise or mental stimulation. Keep a log. See if you can identify a pattern. And if the licking doesn't improve in 2 weeks, call your vet. You'll have valuable information to share, and your vet can help you figure out the real cause. Your dog is lucky to have someone who cares enough to dig deeper instead of just accepting the problem. Your dog is lucky to have you paying attention to these small details. Because these small details are how you protect your dog's health and comfort. These small details are how you make sure your dog lives their best life. If this helped you understand your dog's paw licking a little better, hit the like button so more dog parents looking for answers can find this information. Subscribe for more simple, safe pet health explainers that help you understand what your dog's body is trying to communicate. And tell me in the comments, does your dog lick their paws? Which paws? When does it happen most? And have you figured out what's causing it, or are you still trying to solve the mystery? I'd love to hear from you and help if I can. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.